welcome back to the Yonko Adventures Yonko Podcast. We just reacted to chapter 1083, The Truth About That Day, and now we discuss. Before we get into that, do all the things.
Subscribe.
You know what
bell.
to do.
Ring the bell. Ring the bell.
Cliffhanger again, but getting little
Getting
bits more
answers.
slowly.
This is the first time in a while he's dove straight into like the answer to what happened.
Well, that was the thing. Is like you and I. Props to you and I, Brock, because I think we both called that it was gonna start with Sabo.
Yeah.
Last.
We were actually gonna get into it. Heck yes.
So.
A lot of interesting implications about this.
With God Knights. Or God's Knights.
Yeah.
New group of enemies.
Yeah, new group that we hadn't heard about.
And they're probably up there, so... So first thing I noticed was that the captains of the revolution were actually fighting pretty well against the admirals people.
Yeah.
But maybe we need to take into account the fact that they're surrounded by Tenryubito and they can't harm them by using the full scale of their powers. But still.
That's also a fair thing.
Yeah.
But the captains, I mean, still, to be able to fight them at that point is still very impressive.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it still doesn't upset my power scaling of, anything, because I never said Green Bull or Fujitora were in my top 10, so, only Yaki Inu would be the one that I would be like, if they were doing well against him, even with all things considered, I think there might be a little bit of an issue, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Because also, this is just my opinion. Aki Inu before being Fleet Admiral would just not give a shit if any of the Celestials died trying to kill some of these people.
Yeah.
He'd get the repercussions eventually, but he wouldn't give a shit. Now, as he is now, I don't think he could do that.
So, what do you think? Oh my god, it kind of excites me to think about it. But like the implications of all of the former CP9 being there. What if they turncoat just like Lucci, and not even turncoat, but like
I get what you're meaning.
Because they seem to be. Because they stayed together. Even after that, like, there's got to be some kind of group chemistry there.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I mean that's the thing is like so. Kat wouldn't know this, but you read their cover chapter after. Yeah. So their cover story, they obviously were like working their asses off to get Lucci medical help because he was the one who was the most worst for wear afterward. So like there's some camaraderie there, and I mean most of these guys were under deep cover for like 5 years?
That was a while.
It was a long time under Iceberg. Bluno was obviously the barkeep there, and then Kaku and Lucci worked at the shipyard. Khalifa was his secretary. Like there's a lot of camaraderie here between these guys.
But like it's like they stay together even into CPHs.
But Chapapa guy, I actually don't remember. Fuguro is back to introduce Darukis back into the power scaling system.
Darukis. They'll probably, just for the heck of it, they'll probably have a little scaler again and see where all their power's at.
I think it'd
after
be
the
so
2 years.
funny if 15 years later in our time, Oda tries again to establish an actual power level with
the midichlorians of the One Piece world.
Oh, it'd be so funny. Anyway, no, I am just really happy to see them.
I'm hyped.
There were non-canon, quote unquote, hints that they were still around as CP0 agents now. But once again,
this is confirmation.
This is a confirmation. It's the same thing as Aokiji's leg. We finally got an actual canon confirmation that he is missing his leg.
Yeah. So
it's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, and so I'm really excited to see if they'll show up at or after Egghead with the things that are going with Lucci and Kaku, because obviously this gives me I think I was already insinuating this, but this gives me the vibe of they're closer to each other than they are to the world government. So if, the leader, Lucci, and Kaku, the presumably second strongest, are turning against them because of what's going on, I can totally see the rest of them following suit.
I think Vivi, yelling at Lucci is going to be even more... To me, it's more reasons why Lucci might...
So you think that like things right here could come back in the near future based on Lucci and Vivi's interaction here?
Do you think it's more of a like she basically called him a cat being held by like a leash, or like she's basically insulted him, or do you think it's kind of like she's getting through to him emotionally?
I think both. That knowing that he's on the leash. So emotionally on the leash, like you can't fully protect. You're just following orders in a way that it's like
your word can't be trusted because look what happened.
That wasn't actual protection.
No,
like it was you stopped it for the moment, but like true protection would have been doing something different.
Yeah.
So I think that's between getting his ass handed to him by Luffy and for the sake of saving a friend and just Luffy's whole demeanor. Now Luffy's saving his ass and Vivi calling him out that he's having a lot of interactions with very...
people he would never have had the interaction with 2 years ago.
But also just the people themselves are very strong-willed, charismatic.
They're influencers.
They are absolute influencers. They're not trying to be, but they just have a way. Their energies.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to affect Lucci.
Oh, I think that kind of goes back to what I said so long ago too, where I kind of had the thought. I don't know if I full out stated it, that I thought that potentially, like with Law and Kid, being around Luffy on his side even for a short period of time will affect him even ever so little, with a bit more of that humanity that's needed.
Well, I mean, just think of the 2 times that Smoker encountered Luffy on like a very like personal level. Like obviously he witnessed everything that happened at Alabasta, and then he had to go through the shit with him on Punk Hazard.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is, I think the way Luffy was like, all right, his naivety, in a way, is going to also help show Lucci that, hey, there's these...
The world's a lot bigger than you think.
It is, but it's also... His thought process could be that he knows what he truly wants, but he knows where he is right now, and so he's following the rules of where he's at versus following his heart, in a way, for lack of a better...
Kind of like what we talked about with Aokiji.
Yeah.
He joined the Blackbeard.
Yes. But by seeing Luffy and knowing that, maybe if I decided to follow my path, I could have Luffy to back me up. Because, Luffy's like, you promise you're not going to hurt us? Yes, we promise. Okay, fine, we're good. And Luffy just takes him at it for his word. And that if Lucci were to... I think Lucci could be able to say, I am renouncing my ties to the world government, to the Navy. This is what I want to do, and I need... Are you willing to help me with that? Luffy would be like, yeah, absolutely, let's do this.
So, for me with Lucci, I don't think it's going to be so much of a heart change. But I think one of the things I've really grown to really respect about Lucci was that he is true to his ideals, and factions don't control that. Because the moment his ideals were threatened by the very people he worked for, he's like, well, fuck these guys, I'm going to fight against them. And literally said, we'll work with you here. So I don't think he's so... I don't think he's in such an uncertain place that he really needs that change. I think his character as like a dark justice, like this is how I do things, is kind of set, but I do think there's going to be a softening at least.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'll ever be a truly like, for example, we can never truly see Doflamingo being kind to an animal like that. And I can't ever see Lucci. The most I think I can expect from Lucci is similar to Sanji's brothers, where they're still cheeky smartasses and assholes, but they're repaying their debts. They're helping them get out of Whole Cake, type thing. And I can totally see something similar happening with CP0. But what I could also see is CP0 kind of being the dark version of the Straw Hats, almost, where they've got that. After being together for so long, they've formed kind of a weird familial bond.
Yeah.
I'll bet a bit more murderous, but it's there. And this makes you really excited because it makes you feel like Oda's doing what we all hoped he would do and just giving so much more meaning to these characters that have been here forever. Like, say, Buggy, who finally is coming into his own. And, like, for all we know, CP0... They might be coming to their own thing with their own ideals because, you know, when we first met them, they were all cool individually, but like they were out there to kill pirates and take Nico Robin. So this might be a chance to see them in like, I mean, I already see Lucci in a brand new light after what happened on Egghead. Like, we saw so many signs of him. Like, it's super funny because now that I've seen, I'm almost. I'd almost say Lucci has changed a bit from 2 years ago because he doesn't lie. He doesn't lie. He's true to his ideals, and yes, that could be to the detriment of others, but
including himself.
But I think that can lend itself well to situations like this where he might be softened. And I think also, even if he himself doesn't change that much, I think there will be that begrudging acceptance / respect that might never be stated towards Straw Hat by the end of it. Well, like with Kid, you know, because Kid, you know, he would always talk shit at Luffy, but like whenever Luffy did something really fucking badass, he'd be smiling along with the rest of them.
Of course.
You know. And then there's just that unconscious. So yeah, I don't think Lucci needs too much swaying. I think he's very committed to himself. And he's not shackled to the world government. I think he proved that on Egghead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just like they were the most convenient force for him to enact his dark justice under.
And see, I don't think it would be a full heart change.
Yeah.
But I think previously he was shackled to the world government because he has this end goal of whatever he's trying to get. Mm-hmm. And I think by joining the world government and following them and what their orders, I think he was slightly compromising his ideals, knowing that, like a game of chess, if I sacrifice this piece that I really care about, it'll eventually get me to that end goal. Whereas now, I think after these interactions with all these different people who are true to themselves unapologetically, that he's saying, you know, maybe now, like previously, I could have seen Lucci telling Luffy, yeah, I promise we're good.
Him lying.
Lying through his teeth to get what he needs to. And now, absolutely, I do not think he's going to go back on his word to Luffy. Like, previously, I think he would.
Well, I mean, he didn't lie. He did tell Luffy, he's like, because you remember,
I'm killing you first.
Because remember, when Luffy said, are you going to come after us? Kaku was like, of course not. Lucci was like, oh, you're the first one I'm coming after, motherfucker. He didn't lie, but, that was super cool.
Yeah, but, I mean, I think it could be, you're the first one I'm coming after, but it could also be that he just, when he decides to come after them, and he might never decide to come after them, too.
Or I think it might be another spin on what you just said. It might be he might have lied. He might have told Luffy what he wanted to hear 2 years ago. But here now, he's just going to be like, no, I'm going to fucking kill you after we're done working together. You know, and I think that's, strangely enough, just as respectable given his backstory and his character.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think Luffy's like, yeah, cool, I can deal with that later, I guess.
And I love Luffy's like, all right. Luffy's like, okay.
Yeah. Okay, fine. At least I have a heads up.
I'll kick your ass again. It's fine.
And yeah, I think it also helped that Lucci said, "I'm coming for you first," because then Luffy's like, "Yeah, I got this. I can take you out.
I will never call you an emperor."
But whereas if Lucci's like just yes, then I think Luffy would have been a little more like, what if he goes for my lowest first and picks them off one by one? That wouldn't have worked.
So I think it'd be super. I'm uberly hoping to see, and also it kind of. I know we're spending a lot of time on CP0, but they're just they've been so interesting because they've been so weird for what they are since we've met them. Because bowler hat guy, what's his name again? You know, the guy that...
Bluno?
No, the one that got smashed by Kaido for interrupting the fight.
Oh!
That one.
Guernica.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Guernica.
So when he was fighting X-Drake was following his justice. He's like, I envy you. Like, there's some interesting personalities in that group that don't necessarily mesh with the mind-controlling world government worldview.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of that one, we're watching that right now.
Yeah.
We just started our Crunchyroll finally decided to work the other night.
Nice. So. And it's just I think there's so I think they have serious potential for being some of the most like dark horsey, like unexpected characters in the series. Like I think with them we can get a lot of moments like we had with Buggy where he finally got serious, you know, and it might be not in the same way, but in like I think groups like these and what's Sanji's family? Jesus.
Oh, the Vince
Germa.
The Germa, yeah. I think there's a lot of room for subtle personality change that really affects the story, and you're just like, okay, I never thought I'd say this, but I hate you guys a lot less than I used to. What the hell?
Which, I mean, to be fair, like, you, me, and Alex have never hated CP9
no.
CP0 now, like a bunch of the members.
Just Spandam.
Yeah, Spandam was the only one.
Spandam can go suck a dick.
Spandam was the only one. Speaking of Spandam, I saw a fun, it was on Twitter the other day. It was one of those, you've seen the Mr. Incredible, those who know, those who don't know meme. It was the reverse where it was those who don't know, and like obviously he's all like fucked up because it's literally just like his skeleton being cracked in half, and so then it's those who know, and we're all smiling like, yeah, he deserved that, motherfucker.
Yeah, no,
Alex, I think I'll send that to you. Put it right here.
No, him, like him, Charlos, and fucking Orochi are three of my most hated.
Oh gosh.
But. No, I feel like there's just... And now that they've reintroduced all of the former members of CP9.
I will say I appreciate Charlos being continually included just so he can get fucking wrecked. And that he's
every time. That he still has bandages and shit on.
He's just such a little bitch.
Oh god, he's like perpetually in pain. Because
also the fact that he just got beat up by another Celestial Dragon for this most recent one.
He can't do shit about it.
It's like, get fucked, dude.
That's so lovely. No, it's just it's these are such refreshing change-ups you don't normally see, and like the payoff right now has just been phenomenal after years and years of this build-up, and just like it's funny, you know, seeing CP0 now, but you know the original members of CP9 after all these years again, and like it's almost like relief, breath of fresh air. It's not like they're there to do good right now, you know, but it's just like, oh my god, the family's back together.
It's nice to see that they're all together.
It's nice, and like, because now, it's
because like, also that's the other thing is that they're bossing Spandam around as far as we've seen.
He's the punching bag now, and also just like Lucci, he just became so much more human after we really experienced him. Because we only ever experienced him as an enemy until now.
As like an unstoppable force.
Like, I actually like him, right? Currently, just personality-wise, I like him more than Mihawk and Crocodile. And right now, that's because always see a Crocodile and Mihawk, they beat up on Buggy. Sure. And now that I'm in love with Buggy, I hate them for beating him up so much. Yeah. It's so weird. I'm like, leave my Buggy alone, you assholes.
Obviously, I love all of these characters.
Oh, me too. But Mihawk and...
But Mihawk and Crocodile they're bashing on Buggy when, right now Buggy's being the most genuine he's ever been.
They're kind of falling behind in terms of, actual character development.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because they're so jaded and they're so, in the darkest of the world.
And that was the thing, is, you and I talked about that ad nauseum about just how much... Buggy was calling them out on something that,
letting go of their dreams.
Letting go of their dreams.
Just
and whatnot.
letting the darkest of the world swallow.
And it's like, damn, dude, you are saying that to those two? Fuck.
Balls.
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 That nose must be where he keeps all of his balls.
That's where one of his balls are. The other one's on the top of his head. He shows them flashily.
Everything flashy.
Oh my god, no.
Anyway.
But yeah, to end that little tangent, super excited to see where CP0 goes from here. I see them being here for the long game.
So I just have to be honest. I'm happy with what we got in this chapter, but I was underwhelmed.
Oh, same.
I feel like it was really short. I felt like it could have been a lot longer.
Well,
I'm okay with the tension building up to Cobra.
Yeah.
I'm sure that whatever it's going to be is going to be a huge reveal. I just feel like we could have seen a little bit more of what was happening.
Yeah. I'm wondering,
around.
Since Sabo in his flashback included that image of Bonnie running for Kuma.
I don't know if we're supposed to think of this flashback as Sabo telling us.
I know, but since it's included in his flashback, I'm wondering if
she has
something to do with it.
Also,
go ahead, Brock.
I think on account of what you were just saying, Burke, I think also it could be contributed to the fact that last chapter was so emotionally jarring.
I mean, you and I
emotionally
really liked
there's very that level of emotional hype is the likes of I want to live.
Yep.
And so
sorry to interrupt you on that, because that was the thing is, I'm talking with Alex's fiance at work, and we're just talking about the last chapter, and she just said to me I didn't really feel much for that, and I'm like, and that's fair.
That's fair,
because I get it, Buggy's not for everybody, but and the way I worded it was Buggy was me in that chapter. A lot of the things Buggy was saying were things that I wholeheartedly believe about myself. Mm-hmm. And so and not a one-to-one thing here, obviously.
Yeah. But there's comparisons.
But there were comparisons where I'm holy shit, man, I feel everything. And it's the same thing as the I want to live moment, where there have been times in my life where I have been as lonely, or perceived myself as lonely as Robin felt throughout her life. Mm-hmm. And then you meet people who bring you out of that. Yeah. And all of a sudden you can rely on them for just about fucking anything. Mm-hmm. And so to finally hit that point and just say, I don't care what darkness comes after me in this life, because I found the people who make me happy. I want to live. Yeah. You and I always have identified with those kind of emotional power punches.
Yeah, and and I think that's kind of another thing. It's and also it is a build-up chapter, but also I think the payoff from this is going to fill in so many blanks. Awesome. It's going to fill in so many blanks.
Which, to be fair,
given the current situation.
When was the last, in your opinion, and you can chime in on this as well, Kat, what was the last, filler chapter, build-up chapter to you? Because it feels like we've had a lot of, revelation.
Honestly, a lot of that has happened on Egghead. Yeah. Because I think Egghead is just one gigantic build-up to whatever the event is. All of the stuff that we've panned out to has been kid getting one-shotted. Lost crew getting destroyed. And
this is all happening simultaneously. In a way, these are flashbacks from where we're at.
Yeah, we're seeing the ends and current happening events. Mm-hmm. While Egghead is leading up to what could probably dwarf all these.
These all have to be connected in some way.
Oh,
they have to be.
Or they're going...
why else would... don't get me wrong. We're going into the Final Saga, so we got to know what's going on in the world. But also, a lot of these things we're cutting away to, they have to be connected to the incident.
So what I'm thinking is this is kind of acting as a gateway to the final saga.
Yeah.
And I think this whole thing is a lead up into what's gonna make the world just go batshit crazy, because we've got 3 paths being taken: Kid, Law, and Luffy. Right? They each arrive at these pretty big islands. At Elbaf.
Literally only Winter Island was kind of like, what's the big deal? But now,
it's a big deal. And then also, freaking Egghead, Vegapunk's island
territory.
And we see the last 2 of the original Yonko at this point now, obviously. And they defeated the 2 guys we just saw take down Big Mom.
Yeah.
And Kid really easily, and I will still say, until I know otherwise, Law, there probably was a big difference in their strength.
Yeah.
Just because Blackbeard, he fights weird. I can't.
He does.
I can't say anything as to.
Depending on what Law did, his power drains him so fast.
Yeah. No, and also Blackbeard's specialty is up front.
Yeah.
Like Law, he's kind of a hit and run, stab you, the room. So, but that's one thing, But either way, we're seeing the final contenders coming up. Like James was telling us earlier, the focus wasn't on Law and Kid. It was the fact that they were both defeated rather handily by these next 2 opponents, / these next 2 contenders in the final game of it all. Not that I don't think the 2 won't come back. I think they had way too much build-up in Wano to not come back. That'd be very disappointing.
I'd be very upset if Kid and Law weren't at least somewhat part of the Grand Fleet.
Yeah.
Or, like I've already theorized,
or associates.
I think that I still think that Law's fruit will come in handy for Luffy specifically.
Maybe.
But I would like Kid to be involved in, the final war.
And I honestly, I think, and let's say a little tangent, and I think Kid gets done dirty just because his way of fighting, it's really hard to see it as anything but brute force, because it really is an amazing amount of brute force. But I think it's just kind of when it's hard because with Law, his shit is attacking from the inside out, essentially. Kid, he's hitting you with so much force that it's breaking you from the outside in, which I think is the impressive part. But what's up?
I think one of the other reasons the Kid gets done so dirty, because if he were in any other anime, he would be really cool as a protagonist. And don't get me wrong, he does fucked up shit. That was one of the ways we were introduced to him.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the main reasons he gets done dirty so much, because he is the polar opposite in his mindset from Luffy.
Yeah.
Where Luffy is here to have some fucking fun, and he adopted Shanks's mindset from such an early age of somebody laughs at me, somebody throws drinks on me.
I'm not gonna
kill you over that.
Yeah.
But the minute you fuck with my friends, it's on.
Yeah.
Kid has literally both of those. You fuck with my friends, or you laugh at me, I'ma kill you.
Yeah.
And Luffy never goes into that trying to kill. Because if this were if this were a more serious pirate anime, Kid would be a much bigger contender, and I feel like he would be clowned on as much.
Oh.
Go ahead, Kat.
I think with Kid though, I don't know if we know too much of his. I don't remember if we know too much of his backstory.
No,
or not
really.
But it could be the way he was raised. That's how you command respect.
Oh, I'm sure you grew up on the streets. Yeah.
That you have to be tough. You can't just laugh something off or it shows weakness.
He gives off that feeling. And also, to be fair to Kid, everyone he gets beaten by is like a Yonko.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
no.
But and it's not like I'm a huge Kid stan, but I do.
But I think that we shouldn't always be clowning on him,
because I truly don't think he's mid. I think he deserves the bounty he's given. I think he's done his fair share of damage, and I'm still of the opinion that Shanks had to get serious there because he saw the damage.
Kid was about
to blow people apart.
Because that's the other thing. Kid was going to do some fucking.
He was going to kill people, and so Shanks had to get serious.
He ended it as quick as he could.
Yeah. So I think that is something to say about it.
Yeah.
But once again, that was a tangent. But yeah, anyways, back to what we were actually talking about. Kid and Law being beaten after we have this really impressive showing against Big Mom, And obviously, I couldn't imagine either of them fighting Big Mom on their own. So it would make sense that I couldn't see them beating other emperors by themselves at their current stage. So it's not that weird.
I truly believe both of those emperors are stronger than Big Mom.
Oh,
at least.
They're endgame
I
emperors.
still think if I were to believe that Kaido were alive, I think he and Blackbeard would be pretty even. Obviously there are certain things about Blackbeard that would be weird.
The only thing about Blackbeard, the only reason I put Blackbeard as high as I do, and I think I've reiterated this many times, is that he's the only person we know of, besides that fluke of a fish at the very beginning, that's left a mark on Shanks' body.
Yeah.
And we've seen what Shanks can do. If Shanks can do that and he left him with a mark like that on his face, what?
Yeah.
That's why I put them both higher than the other two. And because also that's the thing is neither Shanks nor Blackbeard, they're polar opposites in terms of intention as far as I know, but they're the same in that they don't seek out trouble without reason.
Yeah.
For Blackbeard, it's to further his gain. For Shanks, it's either maybe it's prophecy, maybe it's to help something with the world, maybe it's world government related. Shanks, we don't know yet. We really don't know either of them yet.
No, Shanks' goals are a little
hazy.
Still unknown, hazy.
We just know that he was able to talk to the
with the
5 other stars.
flashback last chapter with Buggy, I still think that something Roger told him made him hold off on going after the One Piece or being the next Roger for a time.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I don't think they're all necessarily connected, directly linked in what's happening, but I think they're all building up to a connecting point that will be, okay, the world, all hell lets loose because of what happened after Wano. What that is, I don't know. I definitely think whatever happens on Egghead is going to be the center of it. Yeah, but ooh, man, wouldn't it be interesting too? Now that we've seen Aokiji, it wouldn't be. I want to know what happened because we can assume that Saul's alive.
Yeah.
I want to see an exchange between those two.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. And also it might give us a nice look into what Aokiji's truly feeling about everything he's doing and what's surrounding him.
Obviously we got a bit of a glimpse into that, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so many things to... But also, we still think that the pirates got to arrive on Elbaf sometime, right? Even if it's...
We're talking about the Straw Hats, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. You said just the pirates.
No, I said the Straw Hats.
Oh, okay.
I just said it really
Must
fast.
have misheard you. Okay. No, at some point they have to go to Elbaf, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Or Saul's got to come to them, or Dragon, through Saul, has to, get that info to them. All roads are leading towards Robin has to reunite with Saul at some point, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Just like Brook has to reunite with Laboon.
Yes.
Yes.
Laboon. Oh, man. I'm not looking forward to whatever's going to happen to Cobra.
Yeah.
I'm going to be very sad.
Oh.
I mean, this will confirm whether or not...
The flooring, by the way, the flooring in that picture of him on the ground, I'm pretty sure that's the flooring in the council
$5
chamber.
stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, something to do with the elders or something to do with him. And they just obviously...
And Sabo ends up walking in.
Sabo found him.
Sabo. So, it's...
Just one of those things where it's like, oh, man.
I mean, there is some truth about... They're saying, is there any truth behind the scoop with King Cobra assassinated? Yes, he was assassinated, just not by
Cobra
Sabo.
Cobra is dead. I am pretty damn sure of it now.
He's assassinated, just not by Sabo.
Oh, but Sabo... Here we kind of... we see a bit of a difference in Sabo's mindset and Luffy's mindset. Because Sabo was like, I'm okay with this if it furthers the cause.
Luffy would have been...
Luffy probably would have punched him for that.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's going to kind of come to a head later, because Sabo is a bit more of a for the cause kind of guy. Mm-hmm. Luffy's a free spirit. And so I wonder if at some point in time that's going to have to come to a head, and choices either have to be made or something will have to be fought out, or a talk. I don't know. But we're seeing that he is not the same as his brothers, because he's actually got a cause he's fighting for that isn't just to raise hell in the world and to live freely.
Yeah. He's working to make it better for everyone.
So yeah, that'll be an interesting dynamic coming up in the future. And then once again, I always take pleasure in seeing Charlos just wrecked. Always. Such an idiot. His face. Oh man, what else is there?
Honestly, I didn't really have much else. The only other thing I found just kind of cool, because I was not expecting it, was Karasu having the Sutsu fruit.
Was that a Logia?
It was like a crow.
Well, no. When we first met him, I thought he was like a crow man. As far as I can tell, it looks like a Logia. Kind of functions like a Logia.
Yeah. We're starting.
And then like the cool thing about it is it didn't. Obviously, you can use his soot to make crows, and so like this doesn't take away from the fact that like Sabo left Dressrosa with Karasu's help.
Yeah.
No,
it's still,
and obviously like with Logia's, parts of them can like come off. And it's cool.
They can produce it,
and it's cool that he can like talk through each of his little soot crows,
which makes sense. Yeah.
So it's cool. That was all I had that was still chapter related that I didn't get to say earlier. Yeah. Like I said, good chapter. I was just slightly underwhelmed.
You cat?
I don't think so. I really said I think Bonnie's gonna come to play in this somehow.
She's got it.
Because why else would it show her in that flashback?
But where is Mad Monk Arouge?
What is he doing?
We've gotten updates on almost every supernova, or killed them. Where is Mad Monk Arouge?
Where is Mad Monk Arouge? That's the question. Oh my god. Because like we didn't hear about him. We haven't heard anything about him since he beat Snack, right?
No, Kaido jumping off the Sky Island. And technically, we heard that he beat Snack.
Yeah, that's the last time we heard was when he beat Snack.
But we didn't see the last time we saw him.
We saw him in the anime.
Oh.
Well, because it didn't show Snack getting beaten, but he got attacked by Cracker right after.
Okay, cool.
Was it Cracker or Biscuit?
It was probably Cracker.
No, I mean, was that his name? Cracker?
No, Cracker.
Cracker's
Yeah.
right. Okay.
You're right.
He had the biscuit for it.
That's whatever.
Yeah.
So much. Cracker? Anyways.
Whoa. And with that being said, we will see you for our predictions for One Piece Chapter 1084 coming very soon. Oh, by the way, no break, right?
No break.
Yeah, no break. So
see y'all next week too.
We'll definitely be getting our predictions out, and then we'll be seeing you next week.
Bye.
Bye.